Kids are coming to the hospital. I mean, that's the first time for them. They don't know what's happening.
They're really scared. They're anxious.
So we came up with the iPads for Kids program.
So the second they got into their room, there's the iPad. They walk in and then the tablet's there and they go run over.
They just want some of that comfort from home.
We need our team, our community to rally behind this cause. So we're creating these streaming marathons with all these influencers. There are several incentives that we'll be putting out there to all of our donors.
You don't know how long I've been looking for you.
It isn't just fun and games, right? We can actually touch people and change their lives.
Polycystic kidney disease is a big one because you have cysts on the kidneys and it reduces kidney function exponentially. It's not a buzzword disease, not everyone knows about it, and so that could use money, but at the same time, I have lived my life as a transgender teen on the front lines of the LGBT community. I've been going to Cincinnati Children's since I was tiny, and I still go, and they helped me with my kidney disease. They helped me with like other things that I had when I was a kid. They helped me with transition, which was a big one, and they've just been there every step of the way. I can't imagine a journey without Cincinnati Children's. Adults, like, they can access hormones on their own, but children, they need their parents' permission. They need like a whole support system in order to get that going. And that's why I think it's really important that it's at a children's hospital.
I have spina bifida, and it's like, it's really fun to have spina bifida. Like, you could, get a wheelchair and go and learn how to go fast, and, you can also learn how to crawl fast. Yeah, I could probably crawl like 10,000 miles and not get tired. I go to the CHOP, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and it is very, very fun to be there. I always love when I'm on the second floor because there's a ginormous ramp I go down. It's like a half a mile long. Miss Sarah is one of my favorites, and I like to tell you about her. She is very, 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 very nice. If I could raise $1 million, I would spend it on curing brain cancer.
His babysitter was driving to our friend's house when she took a turn too fast and she drove off the road, hit our neighbor's mailbox, and flipped over the UTV. Eli and I were both ejected out of it.
I see the UTV overturned. I see Eli. He was sitting in a friend of ours in her lap, and I see his face. It was bleeding, and he said, "Daddy, go see Shane. Shane's got a boo-boo on his arm."
I had a hole in my right arm that went straight to bone. I had to have skin grafts. I also had some burns on my head, broken nose, or oral fracture in my eye.
You know, we kind of had a man-on-man defense where I was with Eli and Simi was with Shane most of the time. And when Eli arrived, originally because he was solely a burn patient, he was supposed to be on the burn unit floor. They understood the fact that I had another son there, that we had both of our boys there, and they did allow Eli to also be on the same floor in the same unit as Shane, just a few doors down. I mean, anything that we asked of them, they were more than willing to do for us.
Our children's hospital is Maria Ferrari Children's Hospital. Someone had gotten us walkie-talkies, so whenever one of us wanted to talk, all we had to do was pick up a walkie-talkie.
Shane, are you feeling better?
Yes, Eli, I'm feeling better.
Every time I'm in line now at a store and they ask if I want to donate to a children's hospital, I donate whatever I can.
He's so happy and positive, and it's all he knows too, so we just Like he always says, we roll with it.
I have a thing that shows me how fast I'm going, so it should look like a race car because it can go 6 miles an hour.
He has a pulmonologist, a cardiologist, a gastrointestinal doctor, a nutritionist, a neurologist. He's got a whole team that just follows his wheelchair. He calls the child life specialists the play ladies. So they come into the hospital and they brought him a switch and he lights up.
Lego Marvel, I'm almost done with that game on my DS, and now I'm doing the second one on my Switch. Pokemon, Star Wars, Transformers. Fortnite's pretty much a game that's trying to get you addicted to it.
Whenever a family has a child with an illness, you never know where that journey's going to take you. And we always prayed for a miracle.
She was the flyer. She's the one that they would, get and throw into the air.
She was this cute, petite, tiny little girl with just a head full of long, blonde hair. She wasn't afraid of heights. In fact, she wasn't really afraid of anything.
I've got a story just like anyone else. A wise man said, this too shall pass. Oh yeah. Come on, I'm gonna go all the way this time. I'm flying, never coming down. Gonna reach the stars. I'm going high.
We had noticed she had just gotten weak. I said, what's the matter with you? I said, you're a tumbler. You can tumble and do backflips, without knowing. And it progressed from that to she fainted a couple of times. And we thought it was, she's got a virus or whatever. So I took her into the doctor the next day, and they immediately sent us to Texas Children's Hospital.
She was just, from the moment I met her, she was about 11 years old, she just had a sort of magical presence about her, and nothing would keep that girl down.
Victoria was diagnosed at the age of 11 and a half with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The cure rate for leukemia is the 80%. When Victoria was told that she had cancer, that's the only time we saw her cry. And Dr. Dreyer walked in and told her that 80%, 85% rate cure. So Victoria accepted that. She said she wasn't worried anymore.
In today's world, we cure, go away forever, about 80% of children. In 1965, we cured 5% of children. So the improvement is unbelievable. And Victoria actually had a particular subtype of ALL that the cure rate should have even been better than that.
Victoria's treatment was to take 2.5 years. And at the end of 2.5 years of chemo, Victoria was to be finished with her treatment.
So during that time, she had some good days, she had some bad days.
When she was sick, she still would put on her cheerleading suit and go do cheerleading. I have lots of pictures and important memories in my office, and one of the ones that I get to see every day is my beautiful picture of Victoria as an angel at our Camp Periwinkle. I'm the camp doctor. I've been the camp doctor for 20 plus years. And I took a little girl who was suffering from cystic fibrosis and cancer. And she was in Tori's cabin. But Victoria would come around, 11:30 in the morning, 12, get this little girl all ready for the day's activities for the afternoon. And she got this little girl ready to go to the dance. I will never forget that little girl at that dance. What a wonderful support Tori was, because without Tori, this little girl would never have had the camp experience that she did.
She feels great. How does my heart sound?
It's a little off. It kind of sounds like a bunny.
Oh.
I like bunnies.
Oh, you like bunnies?
I love them.
Okay, you're good. Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to hand this over to Dr. Frickback and see what she has to say.
Well, what's your name again?
My name is Bunny McBunkbunk.
Well, Bunny McBunkbunk, today our breaking story is about a little dog named Arfie. Let's ask Arfie.
In 2005, Texas children held their first radiothon with the Children's Miracle Network Hospital, and that's where we met Doc.
We were doing a radiothon at a radio station in Houston, Texas, and she was the kind of kid that you could hear her coming long before she got to your soundproof studio. She was very full of energy. She was just 10 or 11 years old and was already considered a long-term survivor of leukemia.
You know, here she is, lying up in bed, tubes connected to her. She didn't go and cry about it or bemoan her situation. She was around to try to visit these other kids to make them feel better. And I think that's really the legacy of her.
At the end of 2.5 years, when Victoria's treatment was over, they performed another spinal tap and a bone marrow test. The Dr. Dreyer called us. I remember it was a Thursday, and she said, "I cannot believe this, but Victoria has relapsed." Because of the seriousness of her relapse, they told Victoria that her next option was to receive a bone marrow transplant.
Our community really rallied behind our family and our church. You know, we even had signs, "Pray for Victoria." So it wasn't just our family, it affected everybody.
And she made it through, and 9 months later, she relapsed again.
Joellen called me, and she had just the worst news ever, and that is that Victoria's cancer had returned.
So this was 3 times she was told that she had cancer. And so we began another journey to receive a second bone marrow transplant.
Victoria at that time decided she was going to fight and entered the hospital for what would turn out to be an extremely long stay, many, many, many months. And so as a result of this extended stay, I saw that there wasn't as much for her to do as you can stay placated with as a young person.
And he asked her at that time, he said, "Victoria, do you like to play video games?" She said, "I love to play video games."
So I put the word out to a website that I worked with called Sarcastic Gamer, and the online community responded in droves. What I expected to be a couple of games that might come from here and there instead turned out to be things coming from all over the world.
And we started receiving boxes of games.
We had games that came in from Asia and Europe, and
He was receiving games from all over Texas, all over the United States.
so much so that it became sort of overwhelming. Tori had to end up giving it away to other kids who were also stuck in the hospital.
She was the one to go around to be that extra person for all these other children.
It just doesn't seem right that a child should be sick. It's not right that a child stay in a hospital and that they're confined to the hospital and their 4 walls and they're not experiencing the other things that children are doing.
She couldn't be around other people that could have any infections. You know, when she was out, she had to wear her masks.
During this time, Victoria contracted a fungal infection, which is from a very low immune system, and she had little to no immune system left.
And I asked her what she wanted for Christmas, and she said, "I'd really just like to get out of this hospital and go see Christmas lights. Christmas lights are something my family and I go see together all the time, and I can't even leave to go see Christmas lights."
We knew that during the final stages that we weren't going to have Victoria with us much longer.
We were only outside for about 10 minutes, but it was a very special 10 minutes. It wasn't a lot of talking. We just looked at lights. And after about 10 minutes, we rolled back upstairs to her room, and we had our picture made in front of a little Christmas tree. And I said goodbye. And that picture is one of my most prized possessions because it was taken just moments before I saw my friend for the last time. And Victoria passed away before I could get back to see her.
The miracle that we received was that we had her for the time that we had her.
I brought her picture, and I just put that on the table. And I said, you know, this is what we look at every day during this radiothon, during this campaign.
Victoria passed away on January 21st, 2008, after a 4-year battle with leukemia, failed bone marrow transplants, and fungal infections.
It was as a result of Tori's death, sitting at her funeral, that I made up my mind that I needed to be doing this, not just a couple days a year with a radiothon, that I needed to be doing this with my life.
Doc wanted to do something special for Victoria, in memory of Victoria. And he came up with a fundraiser called Extra Life. And this fundraiser would be for the gaming community.
It just occurred to me that gamers should be able to do the things they love to help sick and injured kids as well. And so Extra Life was born. 1,200 gamers showed up on October 15th in 2008.
With this year's Extra Life Gaming Marathon, we're helping save kids' lives. You don't even have to be a crime-fighting superhero.
Each and every year afterwards, it continued to grow. Gamers responded by being able to game for their local hospitals. The next year, 4,500 gamers showed up, raised almost $500,000. The year after that, it was 15,000 gamers raising $1 million, and the next year, 17,000 gamers raising $2.1 million. Video games are like the #1 form of entertainment on planet Earth, have been now for quite a while.
Anyone could be involved in Extra Life.
Gamers aren't that pale kid in mom and dad's basement. They're mom and dads, they're aunts and uncles.
A young child to an older adult to a grandparent.
You can take all that fun of playing games for 24 hours and reach out to your friends and bring them to your environment.
Or if you want to play a board game, a card game.
The funds that Extra Lifers raise can go to a variety of purposes in the local area at the local hospital.
So maybe your extra $20 or your extra $50 goes to curing 87% of children with leukemia.
They might buy an isolette for a baby that is born the size of a cell phone and has to fight for its life.
I can guarantee you that that money goes directly back to these children to keep this from happening again to someone else's child.
Getting involved with Extra Life is really simple. You just have to go to the website at extra-life.org, put in a few details in there, join a team if you'd like to, or create one. After that, it's as simple as fundraising with your friends and family. Let them know why you are doing this. They should know that the money you raise is going to stay local in your community.
We never will truly lose Victoria because she will live for all of us through this.
It started with a little girl in Orange, Texas.
I think that's all we have to say for today.
All we have to say today, so
we'll see you
you
tomorrow
later
at
on
news at
whatever time it is.
At Victoria's house. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.